Okay. A postman took 15 minutes to cycle from the post office to block A. He cycled 12 km for another 30 minutes from block A to block B. So let's draw a simple diagram, okay? So from post office, so this is the post office, to block A. So this is A. He took 15 minutes. Okay, this postman, right? And he cycled 12 km, another 12 km to block B. So this is 12 km and 30 minutes. 30 minutes, 12 km. Okay, good to summarize all the information on the diagram, okay? Next, the total distance that the postman cycled was 22.5 km. So you know that from here to here, this whole thing is 22.5 km. In other words, we will know what's the distance traveled from post office to block A. Am I right? Correct? To find the distance from post office to block A, all I need to do is use 22.5 minus 12 equals to 10.5. So I know that this is 10.5 km. How many Jasons are there? Only one Jason, right? From that class, right? Your brother, right? He left. Why don't you go and call the general office and tell him he left the school because he doesn't like to attend remedial. Please get the teacher to punish him. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, anyway. So 10.5 km from post office to block A. Anyone has any problem with that? So quite simple, right? So we have time. Okay, we know the time, we know the distance. We know the time, we know the distance. Okay, the next thing is we can find his cycling speed. Okay. However, what is the units they want the speed to be in? Km per hour, right? So it's very important that you convert the time to half an hour before you do your calculation. Am I right? Because the units must be consistent. So 15 minutes is how many hours, Jing Kai? Need to use calculator, are you sure? 1/4 hour. So now I want to find a cycling speed from A to B, which is from here to here. That means I'm trying to find this thing. So we have the formula. I want to find speed. So to find speed, okay, what's the formula, Kaden? Okay, speed equals to distance divided by time. We know that the distance is 12 km and time is half an hour. So with that, I know that is 24 km per hour, right? So that's the answer for part A. 24 km per hour. You can write D over T, that's fine with me as well. What was his average cycling speed for the whole journey? Average cycling speed. You raise your hand because you want to ask a question. Okay. I prefer that you do some conversion in the diagram itself. Okay. I mean, it's not wrong to write 12 km divided by 30 over 60. You get the same thing. You get the same thing. Yeah. Just that I use the simplest form. Easy to do. Okay. Right. So, what is average cycling speed for the whole journey? Average cycling speed. Sky, you were not around, right? Last Friday. Okay, I'm not going to ask you then. It's a waste of my time. Okay, Lauren, tell me, what's the formula for average cycling speed? Total time divided by total distance. What? Total distance divided by total time, yes or no? Yes. Okay, very important. You need to know total distance divided by total time. So to find the average speed, average cycling speed equals to total distance divided by total time. Okay, now can someone tell me what is the total distance, Isabel? What's the total distance? 22.5 km, right? So 22.5 km divided by total time. And what's the total time taken, Alexis? MRP, don't be a busybody. So I'm going to write 45 minutes there. Am I supposed to write 45 minutes there? 3/4 what? 3/4 what? Okay, do you all agree with her? Yeah, because the first part of the journey she took 15 minutes, right? Second part 30 minutes, altogether 45 minutes, right? Yeah. So 45 minutes in terms of hour is 3/4 hour. Yes, Bjorn? Like what is the letters? Like who know what is AS stands for? Huh? How do they know AS stands for average speed? Who knows? No one knows, right? Because I don't want to because the speed we are using D, S and T is very common convention, but no one invented something for average speed yet. Okay? Right? So you invent how to fail. You invent failure, right? Okay. So what is? Did someone just say something just now?
Yeah, something. I said 30.
30 what? You mean the answer for this?
Yeah.
It's 30 km per hour, is it?
Yeah.
Then say properly, Jack. Okay, so it's 30 km per hour. Okay, so very important that you know what's the formula for average speed. Next question. Okay, Alex jogged around a 400-meter track. He took a total of 16 minutes to jog 3.5 rounds of the track. So find the total distance that he had jogged. So he jogged 3.5 rounds, right?
Yeah.
And each round is how many meters? 400 meters. So you multiply by 400 equals to 1,400 meters. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. So that will be the total distance that he jogged. You write down 1,400 meters. And then let's look at part B. You're supposed to find his average speed in meters per minute. Average speed. So, Damian, how do I find average speed? So, average speed equals to total distance. Remember, I want to see the formula. Divide by total time. So, total distance is 1,400 meters. Divide by total time is 16 minutes, right? And what do I get? 87.5 meter per minute. Okay, remember correct units is very important. 87.5 meter per minute. Okay, then let's look at the next question. Okay, Ramesh ran at a speed of 7 km per hour for 3.5 hours. He then ran another 12.5 km. He took 6 hours altogether to complete the whole journey. So there's how many parts to the journey, Ashley? Only one Ashley, right? How many parts are there to the journey? 2? Do you all agree with her? There's 2 parts of the journey. The first part being when he ran for the first 3.5 hours at 7 km per hour. And the second part is 12.5 km. So there's 2 parts to the journey. I don't know which part is longer. But the first part, he actually took a total of 3.5 hours. Okay? His speed is actually 7 km per hour. Second part, the distance is actually 12.5 km. So we need to have these 3 pieces of information, right? Okay? So since we know that he took 6 hours altogether to complete the whole journey, he took 6 hours altogether, right? How long did he take for the second part of the journey, Elliot? Two and a half hours. Do you all agree with him? Yes. Okay, because 6 minus 3.5, you get 2.5 hours. Okay, now, since you know that he actually ran for 2.5 hours for the second part, they want to calculate the total distance that he ran. Okay, to calculate the total distance that he ran, first we need to find the distance here, right? Before we add this. So, to find the distance for the first part, how do I find the distance for the first part? Sky, tell me the formula. Tell me the formula. You know what's formula? Tell me the formula, please. Others, tell me. Distance equals to speed times time, right? Remember? Since I want to find distance here, distance equals to speed multiplied by time. I want to find the first part. What's the speed for the first part? Sky. 7 km per hour, right? Then what's the time taken for the first part? 3.5 hours. What's the answer that I'll get? $24.5, right? What's the units? km. Yes, Dinesh? 3.5 hours is the same. Okay? So we know that the first part of the journey is 24.5 km. Yes? So total distance will be, you want to find total distance, is actually equals to 24.5 plus 12.5, right? Which will give me 37 km. So that will be the first part, 37 km. Next, I'm supposed to find his average running speed for the whole journey. Average running speed. So in other words, right, to find the average running speed, do I need to find this part? No, right? I have sufficient information not to do that part, right? But let's say I'm doing this part just for practice. Okay? Now, Wendy, tell me how to calculate the speed. Okay, what's the distance divided by time, Lauren? 12.5 divided by 2.5, and you'll get what answer, Leroy? Need to use calculator. Are you sure? 12.5 divided by 2.5. Vikram, tell me. 5. You don't need to use calculator for this kind of simple calculation. You know, in 10, right, there's 4 times of 2.5, right? Yeah. Correct? Plus another 2.5, you got 5 times. Okay, so you have 5. And the units is, what's the units? km per hour. Okay, so take note again, average running speed is not 7 plus 5 divided by 2. That's wrong. Okay, average running speed is not 7 plus 5 divided by 2. Alright, so how do I find the average running speed? Gabriel. Average speed equals to total distance. Please write down the formula for me when you're doing your practice. Do you hear what I say, Clarence? So, Clarence, what's the total distance? 37 km, right? Divide by total time. Yongqian, what's the total time? 6 hours. Because it's given in the question, am I right? Okay, so 37 divided by 6. Adriana, what's the answer? Six holes. 1/6 units. km per hour. Okay, children, please do not ask me, can I live in decimal? Please do not ask me such question. Why is it that you should not ask me this question? Colin Chi. It's not just because it will not give us an exact answer. It will not give us an exact and precise, accurate answer. Am I right or wrong? Okay. Moreover, the question, did they ask you to round off? Did the question ask you to round off? No, right? Since they did not ask you to round off, please do not act smart and say, oh, I'm going to live in 2 decimal places for Mr. Sia. Okay? So remember, live in fraction. No, there's no short form. Beyond just said. Yes? There is a chance, but not in these questions. There is a chance, there's a chance. I won't know what the exam come out, you see. I cannot predict what will come out. I wouldn't say not very likely. How can I make sure this kind of statement? I cannot say, what if it come out and then you assume it's not going to come out? Okay, yeah, unless I set the paper, then I can tell you very exact, with 100% confidence. Yeah, but you know, I won't tell you as well. Okay, so don't ask me this kind of question, Beyond. You know you're not going to get an answer for it. Next question. Say properly. Okay, Mr. Raj walked 420 meters at a speed of 105 meters per minute. Okay, from the bus interchange to the swimming complex. He then took 3 minutes to walk from the swimming complex to his home. So, now, there's three places, right? First, he started off from the bus interchange to the swimming complex. Then from the swimming complex to home. Am I right? So, there's 3 places. I know. Bus terminal, swimming complex, home. So, the distance between the bus terminal and the swimming complex is 420 meters. This is the distance. And we know that his speed is actually 105 meters per minute. Now, next. Okay, this is the only thing that we don't know. We do not know. Next, we know that he walked from the swimming complex to his home in 3 minutes. Okay. He walked a total distance of 896 meters. So this is the total distance all the way from bus interchange to home. Okay. Will you be able to find the distance he walked from the swimming complex to home?
Yes.
You can, right? So, what's the distance, Colin Chi? Are you sure you need to press calculator for a 3-digit subtraction? Who doesn't know that, right? I want to answer. $476. Okay, all these are simple calculations which you are able to do it, okay, without the use of calculator. Okay, now with that, actually I have enough information to actually find the time taken for this, the speed taken for this, right? Okay, and we can definitely find average speed. So let's look at what the question is asking for. Total time taken for a whole journey. To find total time, definitely we need to know this part first, right? Okay, let's find the time taken for the first part of the journey. Time equals to, okay, in case you need the formula, Sky, tell me how to find time. Distance divided by speed. Okay, tell me, what's the distance, guy? 420. Please tell me a unit, sir. I want to see a units in your working. Do you understand? Divide by speed. So, what's the speed, Sky? 105 meter per minute, right? So, without using your calculator, tell me the answer, Colin Chi. 4? For what? Four minutes, okay? So since we know that he took 4 minutes from the bus interchange to the swimming complex and another 3 minutes from the swimming complex to home, we know that the total time will be
7 minutes.
Okay, 7 minutes. So you can write down first part is 7 minutes. Let's look at the second part of the question. The second part, they want the average speed for the whole journey. So actually very simple. Average speed. Isabel, tell me what's the average speed formula? Total distance divided by total time. Okay. Now Isabel, what is the total distance? What is the total distance? 896 what? Then total time is how much, Jack?
Total time is
7 minutes, right? Okay, so 896 divided by 7. Adriana, what's the answer? 120. 128 what? Meters per minute. Okay? Right, so 128 meters per minute. So far so good. Any problem? Okay, if not, then I'll move on to the next question. Okay, city A and city B are 280 km apart. There's two cities. Polly drives at a speed of 100 km per hour from A to B. She then travels another 360 km at a speed of 120 km per hour from B to C. Always summarize your information. Okay, I know I have three cities. A, B, and C. You know that you don't need to draw to scale, okay? Right? It's just a rough estimate. So A and B is 280 km per apart. So distance is equal to 280 km. So you need to have speed, you need to have time. So look at how I always summarize all my information up. Okay, and at a speed of 100 km per hour from A to B, 100 km per hour. She then travels another 360 km, another 360 km at 120 km per hour from B to C, correct? Okay, find the total time taken for the whole journey. Quite easy done, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I find from time from A to B. I write T and AB at the bottom to show it's from A to B, okay? Can? So, to find time, okay, from A to B, what's the formula, Sky? Distance divided by speed. So, distance of AB divided by speed from A to B, right? Correct or wrong? See, I use the AB to denote AB, okay? So there is less confusion. Understand? So, distance AB is 280 km. Divided by speed is 100 km per hour. So with that, okay, Colin Chi, tell me the answer without using your calculator. What 80 over 100? Just tell me the answer immediately. No need to tell me the working in between because it's so simple. Elliot, need to press calculator, is it? Put down calculator. Chen Hao, tell me the answer. 2.8. What's the units? Hey, Colin Chi, better make sure your mind is here. Next time I ask another question, you don't give me a proper answer, you'll be in trouble. Okay. Next, I need to find, so we know that this is 2.8 hour. Now the next thing I need to find time from B to C, right? Correct, which is also distance from B to C divided by speed from B to C. So distance from B to C is 360 km divided by 120 km per hour. Now, Bjorn, what's the answer? Three what? 3 hours. Okay, because you know the 12 times table, you should be able to know this. 12, 24, 36. Right or wrong? Okay, so you know that this is 3 hours. So the question asks for total time taken, right? Correct?
Yep.
So we need to do one more final step. 2.8 plus 3 equals to 5.8. So the final answer is 5.8 hour. Why use fraction when it can be done with decimal easily? Okay? What do you mean how I get 5.8? How come you can't get 5.8 hour? What's wrong with using 5.8 hour? I don't understand. Why need to use fraction when we have a divide by 100? It looks very nice in this. I mean, the handwriting is perfect. Keep quiet. Don't hear your voice. Next question. Xuan Wei, can give me something that's more constructive or not? Don't support his rubbish. Okay? Yeah, because you know he's talking rubbish already, don't support his rubbish. Okay? Next. Fauzi took 40 minutes to run from his school to his home. 40 minutes, He then ran 5 km from his home to Marichi Reservoir at a constant speed of 15 km per hour. So you know that this person actually starts from the school, okay, to his home and to the reservoir. Correct? Okay, now we need to have these 3 pieces of information. Again, 3 pieces of information. So, yes? Yes, I highly recommend that you draw this every time. Okay, it's very, very clear once you draw it out. It's very easy to solve the question. Or else you keep reading a question again and again, there's too much information. Okay, everything is summarized in the diagram, you can solve it easily. So, I want all of you to draw it. No, as homework. When you solve it. Okay. Now, tell me. Okay, the only piece of information that we know from the school to the home is what? Beyond. Which is the time, right? Okay, I only know the time. Now, then from his home to the reservoir, what is the other piece of information that I know, Ernest? Distance, which is 5 km, and speed, which is 15 km per hour, right? Okay. Now, he reached Marichi Reservoir at 17:45. At what time did he leave his school? Okay, so we know that we can find the first part here, right? Yes or no? Yes? Okay, if we can find the first part here, we will have these 2 pieces of information, which is enough for us to solve the problem. Am I right or wrong? Do I need these 2 pieces of information? No, it's redundant, right? So let's find the first part, which is the time from the home to the reservoir. So to find the time, okay, now Sky, tell me a formula. Distance divided by speed. Lauren, what's the distance? 5 km, and the speed? 15 km per hour. So what's the answer, Lauren? Equals to 1/3 hour. So 1/3 hour is how many minutes, Vikram? Hey, hello, did I say can use calculator? So smart, give me the answer. 20 minutes. Okay? Right. Hey, now, In Chong, you cannot use the calculator for the rest of this year in this classroom, okay? Okay? He's not taking the exam in this room. Yeah. He's not taking the PSL in this room.
How about prelim also cannot?
When I'm teaching, he cannot. So we all agree that 1/3 hour is 20 minutes, right? Yeah. Very simple lah. 16 minutes divided by 3 is 20 minutes, right? What's taking so long? What's taking you so long? Okay? Right? So this sort of thing must be instantaneous. So you know that this is actually 20 minutes. So I think the question is asking for the time taken, right? So it took a total of how many minutes? 1 hour, right? Or 60 minutes. Okay, so 1 hour before 17:45 would be 16:45. 16:45. Okay. 16:45. Yes, you need to draw a timeline. 17:45. Okay, 60 minutes. And this is 16:45. No. No. People already give you in 24-hour clock. Why you want to do extra things? Why you want to do extra things? Yes, Clarence? No. It's very confusing. If you're Clarence was asking, can he draw the timeline inside this diagram? No. Okay, it's going to get confusing. Okay, so it's separate. Yes, Caroline? Hey, are you 100% urgent? Okay. Yes? You can write it on your own, right? Can I write it out for you? It's okay. Amish is picking on me. Okay. Right, anyone has any problem? No? Next question. Peter, Jamel, and Khan were on their way to a resort. Peter drove 1/3 of the journey at a constant speed of 64 km per hour. Jamel took over and drove 5/12 of the journey for 20 minutes at a constant speed of 60 km per hour. Then Khan took over and drove the remaining journey. Okay, so very simple. We know that we have a whole journey. Sorry, we have this whole journey. Now, Peter drove 1/3. Okay, it's good if you can convert the 1/3 to equivalent fraction of 12. This is 4/12, right? Okay, so we know that he actually drove 4/12 of the journey. So this part of the journey is drove by Peter. Next, Jamel took over. So this is 4 units. This is 5 units, right? 5/12, right? Correct? And lastly, Khan took over the last part of the journey. And Khan drove for how many units, Ernest? 3 units. Anyone has any problem so far? Clear? Okay, so for the first part of the journey, I know that Peter, the speed that he took is actually 64 km per hour. Then Jamel took over and drove for 20 minutes at a constant speed of 60 km per hour. So, and we know that the time taken is actually 20 minutes, which is equals to how much hour, Ernest? 1/3 hour. Okay, I convert out into hour immediately because I think that it's more useful to solve it this way. Yeah, because it's in km per hour. Okay, so we have actually summarized all the information in the question, right? Okay, so how far did Jamel drive? So we know that because we have speed and time, can we find the distance?
Yep.
We can, right? To find distance, Lauren, tell me what's the formula? Speed multiplied by time. What's the speed, Colin Chi?
The speed
60 km per hour. And the time? 1/3 hour. So, Colin Chi, tell me, what's the distance traveled? 20 km, right? Because 60 divided by 3 is 20, quite easily done. So we know that Jamel drive 20 km. So that's the first part. 20 km. Now, since we know that Jamel drove 20 km, will I be able to find out what's the total distance of the whole journey? Yes. I can, right? Because Jamel drove 5/12 of the entire journey, yes or no? Yes. So in other words, 5 units equals to 20 km. So 5 units equals to 20 km. I will be able to find the total distance by finding 1 unit first. Okay, but now, okay, since we only need to know how many minutes did Peter drive, I just need to find this part, right? Correct? Yes or no? I do not actually need to find the entire distance. I just need to find my distance here. Yes or no? Correct? So, and this is 4 units, which is 16 km. So 16 km. Will I be able to find the time taken by Peter? Yes. I can, right? Okay. To find the time taken by Peter, time equals to what formula? Charlotte. Distance divided by speed. And what's the distance? And the speed? Okay, divided by 64 km per hour. And what's the answer? Yun Chong? 50! 15 or 50? Really? He keeps telling me 50. He said, you need to pronounce properly. 15. Okay? But why don't you just give me an hour instead? Huh? 1/4 hour, right? Hey, pronounce properly or not? English oral coming out. PSLE. Huh?
How many minutes?
But first of all, since our units is in km and hour, we need to live in hour first, right? Before we convert, right? Yes or no? Okay? So express in 1/4 hour before you convert it to 15 minutes. Hey, Yun Song, I'm serious about this. Oral is coming out. Don't joke around. Okay? Please pronounce properly. Okay? It's not my ears got problem. Really, there's something wrong with the pronunciation. Anyone has any problem so far? Good. So, of course, with this information, I will be able to tell the distance traveled by Khan, right? But will I be able to tell his speed and the time that he drove? Will I be able to tell the speed that Khan is driving or the time that he took to drive? There's no way, right? Because there's insufficient information. The only thing we can find is the distance that's driven by Khan. Okay? Right? Do you all agree? If you all can find the time and the speed of Khan, then good for you. Okay, I can't do that. Okay, next question. Okay, Brenda took 4 minutes to walk from her home to the beach at a speed of 80 meters per minute. Okay, so this is from the home to the beach. She actually took a time of 4 minutes. And her speed is actually 80 meters per minute. So we can find the distance between her home and the beach, right? Correct. Adelaide, tell me what's the formula. Distance equals to speed multiplied by time. And what's the speed, Eldon? Sorry? 80 meter per minute multiplied by 4 minutes, right? And what's the answer? 320 meters. Okay, so we know that the distance between the home and the beach is 320 meters. Okay, that's the first part, 320 meters. Now, second part. Sorry? No need to draw another one. We can just draw it below. Okay? So, this information is when she's walking from home to the beach, right? Correct. So, we need to have another piece of information. So, distance from the beach to home will remain unchanged, yes or no? Yeah. 320 meters. By the time taken now, she took 5 minutes instead. Yeah. Yes? So, are we able to find the speed? Yeah. But do we need to find the speed?
No. Because finding average.
Do we need to find the speed?
No.
Are you sure we don't need to find the speed? One thing you say we don't need. If you don't find it, then how are you going to solve the question? One thing, do you understand what is happening or not? Hey, who doesn't understand the question? Okay, just to be 100% sure, who thinks that we need to find this to find the answer? Please put down your hand. To find the answer for B lah. Who thinks that we need to find this in order to answer B? Please put down your hand. Okay. Who thinks that to find this is a necessary step to find the final answer? Please raise your hand. Oh, I think some of you are lost. You're just like that. Like Kaden is like that. Okay, please put down your hand. Okay. Why we all get confused? Read the question. Average walking speed for the return journey. Do I need to find this? Am I finding the average walking speed for the whole journey or for a return journey? So do I need to find this? Don't find this, how to find the return journey? No, wait. Beyond is still lost. Wait. Don't scare me, eh. Who is lost? Please raise your hand and then clarify. Still? You know return journey is only one way, right? The distance is 320 meters, right? And the time taken is 5 minutes, right? So you definitely need to find this, right? Yes? It's different from the average speed of the whole trip. Average speed of the return journey is different from average speed for the whole trip. You got it right, Eldon? You got it right? Beyond, do you understand?
So the question is just trying to...
Wait. What? You still don't understand why? What do you mean, why must you use speed for average? What are you talking about? I don't understand your question already. It's not really a trick. I explained to you the first lesson. If you are walking home, hey, better pay attention. Still our own private conversation. If you are walking home from the beach we are walking back from the beach to the home, right? Yeah. It's impossible for you to walk at a constant speed throughout. Sometimes you may move a bit faster. Sometimes you'll slow down. You'll stop at a traffic light, pedestrian crossing, all that, right? That's why we need to find the average walking speed, right? So we still need to use the word average, yes or no? When you say of both of them means what? Return trip, there's only one distance. And what's the distance, tell me? Then what's the total time? Yeah, 320 divided. So it's necessary to find this step, right? Don't find speed, then use what? Use what word to use? Then use rate. What's the average rate for the return trip? Don't use speed, then use what word?
Maybe he'll get it more without an
What are you talking about? I don't know. Sometimes you make me confused. You make me confused. What's so? Nothing separate about it. Okay, please. Calm down, children. Y'all got what I mean, right? So we definitely need to find this part, right? Average walking speed for the return journey is different from average walking speed for the whole journey. Okay, y'all make sure y'all read the question properly. Please read the question properly. Okay, so in order for us to find the average speed for the return journey, okay, so speed equals to what formula? Beyond. Distance divided by time. What's the distance, Isabel? 320 meters divided by what's the time, Ashley? 5 minutes. And what is the speed, Colin Chi? Hey, come on, stop it. Hey, so fast and ready today. Okay, let's stop here for today.